Welcome back to Offshore in Asia. Today we are at one of the biggest capital markets in the region, the HKEX. And what we're going to be talking about here is how Hong Kong can be one of the best places for international investing in the world and certainly in Asia, especially if you want direct access to Asia, low taxes and freedom from restrictions that come with Western brokerages. So why would you want to invest from Hong Kong? Well, if you're a digital nomad, an expat or an international investor, you would already know that using US and European or UK or brokerages from other Western countries can come with some limitations, especially as a non-resident. It can bring additional tax implications and you're just not going to have their access to invest directly into Asian markets like you can in somewhere like Hong Kong. And it's not just the regional markets here in Asia. Hong Kong also gives you access to the US and other brokerages around the world. On most Western brokerages, you're not going to get access to Shanghai, Shenzhen, or Hong Kong IPOs. There will be limited access to Asian markets. There will be some Asian ETFs usually, but in most cases you won't be able to invest directly into the Asian stocks themselves or have access to the full range of ETFs and unit trusts available to the general public in Hong Kong. And no matter where you invest, whether it's the US, Australia, or most Western countries, you're going to have an overexposure to your own market. Most people who invest on the ASX invest only in Australian shares. There are some European and US and some Asian ETFs available, but most people will have 80% or so of their investments in Australian shares. Investing in somewhere like Hong Kong gives you a much broader access to much deeper and much diversified capital markets. The HKEX is up there as one of the biggest stock exchanges in the world. Certainly if there's capital moving through Asia, a lot of it will come through this place. It's your gateway to mainland China, Southeast Asia and the Asia Pacific markets, all from a low tax and an investor-friendly, expat-friendly investing market. So what can you invest in here from Hong Kong? Well, if you open up a Hong Kong brokerage account, you're going to have access to direct stocks on the HKEX, access to Shanghai, Shenzhen via Stock Connect, these are the China stock exchanges, ETFs across Asia Pacific, that includes Korea, Japan, East Asia and so on. You're also going to have access to ASEAN markets like Thailand, Malaysia and the Philippines. You'll be able to access bonds, structured products, REITs and other derivatives. You'll get IPO access to companies that are listing on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange and other international markets such as the US and the UK. It's hard to find a brokerage in the West that will give you this kind of access, in particular to regional markets, international markets, and be comfortable offering this kind of access to foreigners. This is where Hong Kong is quite good. It's a jurisdiction that is very used to dealing with expats, and it's very much an internationally minded city, and the investment products that are available to foreigners reflect this international mindset. One of the other big advantages why people like investing in a place like Hong Kong is that it has no capital gains tax. So provided you are not a day trader and you're holding your stock for a sufficient period of time for it to be a capital trade, any gain you make on that is going to be tax-free in Hong Kong. In addition, there is no dividends tax, no withholding tax on local equities. There is no wealth tax, no capital controls. Compared to a place like Europe or Australia where your investments, tax on dividends, tax on capital gains can be taxed into the ground, Hong Kong can really be a breath of fresh air for someone who wants to invest a lot more efficiently while getting better access to regional markets. So how does Hong Kong compare to a place like Singapore? Singapore is a great place to invest. There are some very positive asset protection elements to it, but it's also a lot harder to get access to. Hong Kong is a lot better suited to the common everyday investor who isn't necessarily that wealthy. The person who has a bit of money to invest but may not necessarily have a few $100,000 to drop into the market. So who is already investing in a place like Hong Kong? Well, it's not just about solo investors, expats, internationally focused investors. There is a lot of big money flowing into this place. A lot of big money, sovereign wealth funds, family offices coming from places like the Gulf, places like Africa, other emerging markets. It's quite popular with investors who are looking to diversify outside of the West. They want to invest in a market that has good stability, that is mature, that is very diversified and has good investment options, while being sort of one step removed from the West, but not entirely removed. Hong Kong is very much an international city, and so are the investment markets here. So how do you actually go about opening up a brokerage account in Hong Kong? You're generally going to need access to some verification documents such as a valid passport, proof of address, tax residency info. You will also usually need a Hong Kong bank account to settle your transactions in. If you have a Hong Kong company, a local registered company here, or a visa here, it's going to be a lot easier again. And some brokerages actually allow you to open up these brokerage accounts remotely these days. So wrapping it up here, guys, out on the street here in downtown Hong Kong, Hong Kong really is a truly global financial centre that is open and welcoming to foreign investment. You get access here to markets that you just will not get access to on most brokerages in most Western countries, and they have a very attractive taxation policy as well. So if you would like help setting up an offshore brokerage account in Hong Kong, getting access to the region, or setting up a proper offshore strategy either for business or investment, head over to offshoreinAsia.com. We help expats and international investors tap into Asia the right way. Thanks for hanging around. Catch you later.